asked me on the phone was, can you drive a hearse? And I'm like, I've driven a 12-seater minibus. And they went, yeah, perfect. And I started thinking, imagine if you had driven or owned a hearse but never worked in funerals. Like, I've got my BMW and my hearse. Oh, is that for funerals? No, for pleasure. Real weird. I'm having a lot of fun living in a share house right now. Is anyone living in a share house? Give me a cheer. Alright, typical Brunswick, of course. It's a hotbed of share houses. And my housemates do not know what I do or what stand-up comedy is because they're all from overseas. I told them I was Ali Wong. They were like, oh wow. I hope you're not scared, by the way, to spend 7 minutes in my presence as a Chinese comedian in a small, confined space. But don't worry, I haven't been to China in over 5 years. My mum, though, unfortunately, she is in quarantine in Australia. Not because she's at risk of coronavirus, but just because she's fucking annoying. And my mum is a very, very straight-laced woman. She's not done anything bad in her life, really. The most badass thing I've ever seen her do was fight with an Indian man at a DFO over the last pair of Adidas slides. And she won. Yes! And she went home and she turned them into house slippers. Bad to the bone. I'm glad I grew up here and I'm very lucky to be able to experience all of the things that Australia has to offer. And at the moment, I love learning, so education is really important to me. I've got a bunch of random certificates, okay? I don't know if you have any of these. I've got a working with children's check, because I used to be a maths tutor. Surprise! I was tutoring a kid at his place, and his little brother was running around and the doorbell rings and he scurries off to get it and he's like, Daddy, Daddy, Daddy! And the student I'm teaching turns to me and says, it's not Dad. It's never Dad. Yeah, I was like, my working with children's check did not prepare me for this. I also have my mental health first aid certificate, very excitingly. Yes, wow, no one's ever clapped that! Yes, I've never used it, except one time late last year I was on a youth camp and a kid had a panic attack and she was chatting to me, I was trying to calm her down, but in the midst of all of this, I farted. And she heard me and started laughing, but she stopped panicking. I'm just saying, I'm cut that I wasn't nominated for Young Australian. I've also studied a Cert 4 at TAFE to become a celebrant, a marriage celebrant, that is. I can also do funerals, but you don't need to be qualified for that. I don't know if you know this. My plan in life was to make some extra cash and do weddings, but then I've had this thought, I dropped 3K on this course, but I figured everybody dies, but not everybody gets married. You know, I made a poor choice here. I dropped all this cash, and actually as of this week, I've done 3 funerals. I've actually gone into the funeral biz now. It's a weird combination, isn't it? I like to be morbid in the morning and then have some endorphins in the evening. It's going to be a nice little experience for me. And one of the first questions they asked me on the phone was, can you drive a hearse? And I'm like, I've driven a 12-seater minibus. And they went, yeah, perfect. And I started thinking, imagine if you had driven or owned a hearse but never worked in funerals. Like, I've got my BMW and my hearse. Oh, is that for funerals? No, for pleasure. Real weird. Yeah, I actually got to drive a hearse yesterday. The great thing is, everybody stays the fuck away from you because that would be some bad karma if you went and rear-ended a hearse, okay? This might be TMI, but as a testament to my driving, the body hadn't moved. Like, it was so good. And they lifted the lid and, yeah, I'm just I'm glad you're enjoying that while you're eating your pizza. Anyway, I think I'm in a good place being an Asian woman, because when they opened the casket, it was an Asian lady. She looked really peaceful, right? She was like, she looked good. She looked really good. I'm like, damn, Asians don't raise it even when you're dead. I'm gonna be fine. I live my lifestyle, gigging every night, drinking every day. I'll be fine. Like, you guys, though. Oh, watch out. Yeah, I've also worked in hospitality. I've had a lot of career changes. And my worst shift ever was when I was waitressing. I was handing out some dessert and a woman was so drunk she just threw up at the table, didn't tell anyone. Yeah, just went bleh. Because everybody else was so off their face, they just ate around her. Yeah, sick. It doesn't compare though to my sister. She's worked at the Macca's on the corner of Elizabeth and Flinders Street, you know, the roughest Macca's in town. Yeah, I was like, what's the worst shift you've ever done? And she said, one time I had to clean feces out of the bathroom sink with my hands. And I was like, how did you do it, man? How did you do it? And she said, it's quite simple. You put on the gloves, you start scrubbing, and then soon enough, your soul leaves your body. So I was sitting in an Uber, and an Uber driver, he asked me what I did for a living, and I said, I do comedy. And he did that classic thing where he asked for a joke. He was like, tell me a joke. And I had the classic response, already pre-prepared. I'm like, well, you've got to pay like everyone else. Ha 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 ha. And then he turned off the meter. We went off grid. The trip had ended, and he said, now tell me a joke. Yeah, scariest Uber ride ever. I was like, why did the chicken cross the road? Oh God, please let me live. Yeah. Anyone dating at the moment? I'm back on the apps now. I kind of regret it. I've become really obsessed when I think about dating. Like once I'm in it, I can't stop looking for love everywhere. Okay, every single place I go is an opportunity to meet somebody. Like, I let a guy into my lane when I was driving. That's not a euphemism. He flashed me a smile and a wave, and I was like, holy shit, he's hot. What do I do now? Follow him down the freeway? I need advice. Help! I was also getting triggered by a lot of random stuff from my breakup. And, for example, I bought some air fresheners for my car, and I got triggered not because it smelled like my ex-boyfriend, but just because it smelled genuinely like a man. You know, I brought them here with me, just in case you didn't believe me. Just have a sniff of that, would you? It smells like it, doesn't it? Other things I've had from people sniffing it, that some people have said it smells like a toilet, and I'm like, toilets, men, whatever, they're both full of shit. Thank you very much.